So as I mentioned in yesterday's video, the start time of today's game was moved up from 6 o'clock to 4 o'clock because of inclement weather, and weather reports notoriously trustworthy, notoriously batting 1,000%. But in this case, it was pretty much perfect timing because this game started at 4 o'clock, and pretty much at 6 o'clock, not 6 o'clock on the dot, but like 6:10, the clouds just completely opened up. It started raining. If this game had started on time as originally intended, I would not be talking to you right now. We would probably be in the midst of some rain delay. The tarp is currently on the field. That's just kind of giving you an idea of where the weather is at. But to whoever decided to move up the start time, excellent move. But as for the game today, the Giants beat the A's in what I'm going to be calling the Carquinez Bridge Series. I mean, it could technically still be called the Bay Bridge Series as well, but for me personally, I'm going to be calling it the Carquinez Bridge Series, the I-80 Series. I'm sure we'll all collectively workshop some type of name in the next couple of months. I think the Giants play their first game against the A's in, June, July. We've got some time to workshop things, but Justin Verlander going over the Giants today allows just the one earned run over 5 innings, 4 strikeouts to 1 walk. This spring as a whole, if you include the start that he had over at Papago Park against the Giants minor leaguers plus Willy Adames, he's up to a 3.21 ERA with 13 strikeouts to 3 walks. The 13 strikeouts over the 14 innings are especially noteworthy for me given that last year his strikeouts were low compared to where he's been at over the course of his career. If I remember the number correctly, his strikeouts per 9 innings over the course of his entire career isn't even 9 per 9 innings, whereas last year it was in the 7s. And there very much was a clear drop-off between where his numbers were before he went on the injured list with the neck discomfort and where he was after. Now, I'm not expecting Verlander to get back to where he was in his prime, where he was high 9s or low 10s per 9 innings, but if he's able to get it into somewhere in the maybe 8 range, that'll definitely be an encouraging sign for him as he tries to have a renaissance fresh off the worst season of his career. The home run rate is going to be something that I'm going to be continue watching, not just over the course of spring, but in the regular season as well, because the 1.49 homers per 9 innings that he allowed last season was the highest of his career. He's allowed 3 homers over the course of spring training this far. The one that Zach Geloff hit was one that Verlander said he didn't really attribute it to Arizona air or anything funky like that. He just got it well off the bat. But Verlander, as we've mentioned previously, will have the benefit of being able to trade in the Cactus, not just the Cactus League, but the Crawford boxes in Houston for the cold San Francisco Knights over at Oracle Park. Oracle Park obviously being one of the best pitchers parks in all of baseball. The Giants had a couple cuts prior to today's game as well. The list of players who no longer in camp being infielder Sergio Alcantara, catcher Adrian Sugaste, right-hander Justin Garza, and left-handers Antonio Jimenez and Helcris Olivares. The latter two of Jimenez and Olivares being the most important two, given that now, with them being out of camp, the Giants only have 2 non-rostered left-handers still remaining, those being Joey Lucchesi and Enny Romero. We've talked about them previously. Lucchesi has had the better spring of the two, but Romero has the ability to have that fastball sit in the 94, 95 mile per hour range. I did write a feature on him yesterday, which I do recommend you check out. It's still pretty undetermined as to whether the Giants are going to opt to have a second left-hander in the bullpen. When I did a roster projection last week, I ended up rolling with Eric Miller as the only left-hander in the Giants bullpen, but there's some time still here over the course of Cactus League play for the Giants to determine whether or not that's the route they want to go. Another interesting development from today's game being that Heliot Ramos batted leadoff for the second time this spring, something that the Giants could continue doing against left-handed pitchers given how well Ramos hits left-handed pitchers. In his career, he has a 956 OPS. Last season, he had a 1,189 OPS. The only batter in baseball who had a better OPS against left-handed pitching was Aaron Judge. That being said, Ramos has struggled against right-handed pitching. He's batting below 700. And when Melvin was asked what Ramos can do to kind of find that kind of middle area between being really great against left-handed pitching but kind of subpar against right-handed pitching, Melvin said that the key will be that fastball at the top of the zone as well as sliders that are low and away. Obviously easier said than done, but lineups definitely oscillate over the course of an entire season. There's a lot of different combinations that we can see over the course of the entire year, but given how well Ramos has hit against left-handed pitching, it will be interesting to see how often Melvin goes to that well in the regular season.